Finding Gratitude in a Difficult Year, an introspective bedtime story. If this has been a difficult year, this story is for you. It is not about ignoring the hardships, but about gently choosing, just for tonight, to rest your gaze on the small moments of light you may have missed. It is a quiet search for the strength you did not know you had. You are here, at the end of another day, in what has been an undeniably difficult year. There is no need to pretend otherwise. No need to force a smile or tell yourself that things could be worse, that others have it harder, that you should be grateful for what you have. Not yet. Not in this moment. Right now, the only truth that matters is this. You are tired. Deeply, profoundly tired in a way that sleep alone has not been able to touch. This kind of weariness lives in your bones. It settles into the spaces between your ribs and makes a home there. It is the heaviness you wake with, the weight you carry through each task, each conversation, each small decision that feels monumental simply because you have been making so many of them, one after another, with so little reserve left to draw from. You have been strong because you had to be. You have continued because stopping did not seem like an option. And now, here in the quiet of this evening, perhaps you can finally acknowledge the simple, honest truth. It has been hard. The year stretched long behind you, marked not by celebrations but by moments you had to simply endure. Perhaps there were losses that left holes in the fabric of your daily life, spaces where someone or something used to be. Perhaps there were disappointments that arrived like a series of small earthquakes, each one shaking your foundation a little more, until you found yourself unsure of what solid ground even felt like anymore. Perhaps there were simply too many demands and not enough of you to meet them all, and the guilt of that arithmetic wore grooves into your sense of self. You might have smiled through some of it. You might have told people you were fine when they asked, because the truth felt too complicated to explain, too heavy to hand to someone else. You might have kept going to work, kept answering messages, kept showing up for the people and responsibilities that needed you, all while feeling like you were moving through water, every action requiring twice the effort it once did. This kind of perseverance costs something. It extracts a price that is not always visible from the outside. Your body remembers, even when your mind tries to move forward. The tension lives in your shoulders, drawn up toward your ears in a permanent brace against the next difficulty. It lives in your jaw, clenched tight even in moments of supposed rest. It lives in your breath, which has become shallow and confined to the top of your chest, as if going deeper might unearth feelings you are not ready to face. Your body has been trying to protect you, to help you survive, and in doing so, it has held onto every worry, every fear, every moment of stress like a treasure it dare not release. The exhaustion you feel is not laziness, it is not weakness. It is the natural response of a human being who has been running on fumes for far too long. It is what happens when you pour from an empty cup day after day, when you tend to everyone and everything except the tender, vulnerable parts of yourself that also need care. There is a difference between tiredness and bone-deep weariness, and you have crossed that threshold. This fatigue cannot be fixed with a single night of sleep or a weekend of rest. It is the accumulation of months of holding on, of pushing through, of being brave when you did not feel brave at all. And yet here you are, still here, still breathing, even if those breaths are shaky, still capable of finding this quiet moment, this space to pause. That itself is remarkable, though you might not see it yet. You might only see how much further you have to go, how many things remain unresolved, how uncertain the path ahead still looks. But for now, just for now, you do not have to think about any of that. You do not have to have answers or solutions or even hope. You only have to be here in this moment exactly as you are. Tonight is going to be different, though not in the way you might expect. Tonight is not about fixing anything or forcing yourself to feel differently than you do. It is not about toxic positivity or pretending that gratitude can erase genuine pain. The difficulties you have faced are real. The losses are real. The exhaustion is real. All of it deserves to be acknowledged, to be seen for what it is without judgment or minimization. But tonight, Just for these moments before sleep, you are going to try something. You are going to make a small, conscious choice to shift where your attention rests. Not to abandon the truth of what this year has been, but to widen your view just enough to see if there might be other truths there too. Small ones, quiet ones, the kind that are easily missed when you are just trying to survive. You are going to look for the moments of light that existed even in the darkness, not because the darkness was not real, but because both can be true at once. This is not about gratitude as a demand or a should. It is about gratitude as an exploration, a gentle wondering. What if, alongside all the difficulty, there were also moments of grace you did not fully see at the time? What if your resilience, which you barely recognize because you have been too busy using it to survive, is actually extraordinary? What if there are small reasons to be grateful not for the hardships themselves, but for how you moved through them? For the unexpected kindnesses that appeared, for the core of strength within you that did not break even when it bent. You do not have to believe any of this yet. You do not have to feel grateful right now. You only have to be willing to look, to remember, to allow the possibility that this year, as difficult as it has been, might also hold something worth acknowledging. And if, in the looking, you find nothing, that is okay too. The act of looking with gentleness toward yourself is enough. So take a breath, a real one this time, deeper than the shallow sips you have been taking. Feel the air move past your lips, down your throat, expanding your ribs, filling your belly. Feel it pause for just a moment before you release it slowly, letting it carry some of that tension away with it. Your body has been holding so much. Perhaps it can begin, just a little, to let go. You are safe here. In this moment, in this space, there is nothing you need to do, no one you need to be, nothing you need to prove. You have done enough. You have been enough. And tonight, you can rest. The room around you is quiet. Maybe you have dimmed the lights, or perhaps darkness has already fallen outside your window. Maybe you can see the glow of streetlights filtering through curtains. Or maybe you are in a place where night means true darkness, the kind where the world feels contracted down to just the space you inhabit. Either way, you are here, in this pocket of peace you have carved out for yourself. In front of you, on a table or a nightstand or any surface you have chosen, sits a candle. It might be new, or it might be one you have lit many times before, its wax bearing the history of other evenings when you needed its gentle presence. The wick is dark and still, waiting. This simple object holds a quiet invitation. There is something about lighting a candle that transforms an ordinary moment into something set apart. It is a small ritual, one that human beings have performed for thousands of years, marking transitions, honoring losses, celebrating joys, or simply creating a pool of warmth in the dark. Tonight, this candle represents a choice. Not a grand, life-changing decision, but a small one. The choice to spend this evening differently than you have spent the others this year. You reach for the match or the lighter, and there is a brief moment of hesitation. Some part of you wonders if you deserve this gentleness, this pause. Some part of you thinks perhaps you should be doing something more productive, more useful. But you quiet that voice, not harshly, but with the same compassion you would offer a worried friend. It is okay to rest. It is okay to mark this evening as different. It is okay to choose to look for light. The match strikes and catches, and for a moment you watch the flame find its shape. It wavers, uncertain, then steadies into that familiar teardrop glow. You bring it to the candle's wick and wait. The wick darkens, begins to smoke, and then suddenly blooms into flame. The light is small at first, timid, but it grows, casting a warm glow that pushes back the shadows just a little. Not all of them. The dark remains. But now there is also this, a point of light, steady and warm. You shake out the match and set it aside, watching the thin trail of smoke curl upward and disappear. Your attention settles on the candle flame. It moves constantly, never quite still, dancing to rhythms you cannot see. It flickers and bends, responsive to currents of air, too subtle for you to feel. There is something mesmerizing about it, something that draws the eye and quiets the mind. In ancient times, humans gathered around fires for safety and warmth, but also for this: the way firelight seems to soften the edges of the world, to make space for reflection and story and rest. The flame is small, but it is enough. It is more than enough. And perhaps that is the first small truth worth holding tonight. That even small light matters. That even in a year marked by difficulty, there have been these small flames, moments of warmth, of brightness, of something good. They did not erase the hard things. They were not supposed to. But they existed, and perhaps they still matter. You are not dismissing your pain by looking for these moments. You are not betraying the truth of your experience. You are simply allowing yourself to see that life, even difficult life, contains multitudes. There can be grief, and there can be beauty. There can be exhaustion, and there can be moments of unexpected peace. There can be loss, and there can be love that persists despite it. All of these things can be true at once, and seeing one does not negate the other. This is an act of courage, though it might not feel like it. After a hard year, it can feel easier to catalog all the ways things went wrong, to build a case for your suffering as if you need to prove it is valid. And maybe you do feel that need. Maybe the world has made you feel you must earn the right to claim your own pain. But you do not need to prove anything, not to anyone, not even to yourself. Your experience is valid simply because it is yours. And yet, alongside that validity, there is this invitation to let your gaze soften, to let your grip on the narrative of difficulty loosen just enough to see if there is anything else there, not instead of the pain, but alongside it. This is not about gratitude as spiritual bypass. This is about gratitude as an expansion of vision, a willingness to see the whole picture even when parts of it are painful. The candle flame continues its gentle dance, and you find your breath beginning to match its rhythm, in and out, steady and slow. Your shoulders, which have been riding up toward your ears for months, begin to drop just a fraction. The muscles in your face, held tense in an expression you did not choose, start to release. Your jaw unclenches. Your tongue softens away from the roof of your mouth. These are small changes, subtle shifts, but your body registers them as profound relief. You are here. You are choosing this. You are choosing, just for tonight, to spend this time before sleep not reviewing all the ways the year has been difficult, not planning or worrying or bracing for tomorrow, but in this gentle act of remembering. You are going to look back through the months that have passed, but you are going to look with a particular kind of attention. You are going to look for the moments you might have missed, the small graces that appeared even when you were too overwhelmed to fully receive them. This is not forced positivity. This is not denying reality. This is choosing where to rest your gaze, just for now. And in that choice, there is a subtle but profound power, because attention is not neutral. What you focus on shapes your experience, and for so long your focus has been on survival, on getting through, on enduring. Tonight you are giving yourself permission to look for something else, not as a replacement, but as an addition, a both-and rather than an either-or. The candle's light reflects in your eyes, and in that reflection, perhaps you can begin to see yourself differently. Not as someone who failed to prevent the hard things from happening, not as someone who should have handled it all better, but as someone who simply lived through a difficult year and is still here, still trying, still willing to sit in this quiet moment and be honest about all of it, the pain and the possibility both. You take another breath, this one feeling a little deeper, a little easier. The air smells faintly of wax and flame, a warm, comforting scent that reminds you of other times you have lit candles, birthdays and holidays and quiet evenings, power outages where candlelight was necessity and somehow transformed into something sacred, moments of prayer or meditation or simply sitting with yourself. This candle is part of that lineage connecting this difficult year to all the other years, the hard ones and the good ones, reminding you that you have moved through many kinds of time, and you are still capable of finding these moments of pause. The act of lighting this candle has already begun something. It is marked this time as different, as set apart. It is said, in the language of symbol and ritual, that you matter enough to honor this evening, that your need for gentleness is real and deserves to be met. The flame burns steady now, and it will continue to burn as you move deeper into this remembering, as you begin to search through the year for the moments worth holding on to. You are ready. Your body is settling. Your breath is finding its natural rhythm. The candle provides a focal point, something steady to return to if your mind begins to wander or if the memories feel too heavy. You can always come back to this simple light, this simple moment, this simple truth. You are here, you are breathing, and you are choosing to be gentle with yourself. This is enough. This is more than enough. This is where healing begins. Let yourself sink a little deeper into wherever you are sitting or lying. Feel the support beneath you, the chair or bed or floor holding your weight. You do not have to hold yourself up anymore. You can let go, just a little. Let the surface beneath you do the work of supporting you. Notice how your body responds to this permission. Maybe there is a softening in your lower back. Maybe your hips release slightly. Maybe your legs, which have been tensed and ready to move, ready to react, can finally rest. The candle flame continues its quiet dance, and you continue to breathe. Your eyes might stay open watching the light, or they might close, turning your attention inward. Both are fine. There is no wrong way to do this. You are simply here, in this moment, beginning the gentle work of remembering. Your mind might want to rush ahead, to catalog all the difficult moments, to build that familiar case for how hard it has been. That is okay. Let those thoughts arise if they need to. Acknowledge them. Thank them even. They are trying to protect you, to make sure your pain is not forgotten or minimized. But gently, kindly, ask them to step aside for just a little while. Tell them you are not forgetting. You are just choosing to look at something else alongside the difficulty. You are choosing to widen your view, and so you begin to remember, not with the harsh light of analysis, but with the soft glow of the candle, with gentleness and curiosity. You are looking for small things, tiny moments that might seem insignificant, but that contained, in their own quiet way, something worth holding. You are looking for the times when life, despite everything, offered you a moment of peace. Perhaps it was a morning, weeks or months ago, when you woke before your alarm. The room was still dim, the world outside quiet. For just a few moments before the day's demands crashed in, you lay there in that soft space between sleep and waking. Sunlight was just beginning to filter through your window, touching your face with warmth. You had not yet remembered all the things you needed to do, all the problems you needed to solve. In that brief window, there was only the warmth on your skin and the softness of your pillow, and the slow return of consciousness. It was such a small thing. Probably you did not even register it as significant at the time. Within minutes you were up and moving, caught in the current of the day. But it happened. That moment of peace existed. The sun warmed your face. Your body rested in comfort, even if only briefly. And maybe, just maybe, there is something worth noting in that. Something worth being grateful for. Not in a performative way, but in a quiet, honest way. You are grateful that you were able to feel that warmth. Grateful that even in a difficult year, mornings still arrived with their gentle transitions. Grateful that you can remember it now and feel, even in memory, a whisper of that peace. Or perhaps there was a day when you made yourself tea or coffee. Nothing fancy, just the familiar routine. Heating water, watching steam rise, the ritual of preparation. And then, holding that cup in your hands, feeling the heat of it seep through the ceramic or the paper or whatever held it. You might have been standing at a window or sitting at a table. You might have been alone or in a room full of people. But for just a moment, you noticed the warmth in your palms, the way your fingers curved around the cup, the comfort of that simple heat. This too was small. This too might have gone unnoticed. Just another cup in a year full of them. But it was there. That warmth was real. The steam rising carried scents that for just a moment brought you into the present, away from worry about past and future. Your hands, which have done so much this year, holding so many burdens, also held this cup. They felt its warmth. They experienced that small comfort. You are grateful for that, perhaps. Grateful that even on hard days, there were these small rituals of care. Grateful that you thought to make yourself something warm, that you paused long enough to feel it in your hands. Grateful that tea still tasted like tea, that coffee still smelled like coffee, that these simple pleasures remained available even when so much else felt uncertain. There might have been a moment of unexpected laughter. Maybe someone said something funny, or you remembered something absurd, or you caught yourself in a ridiculous situation that suddenly struck you as hilarious rather than frustrating. The laughter surprised you. You had not realized you had it in you, not that day. But it came anyway, bubbling up from somewhere deep, reminding you that joy, even small and fleeting joy, had not abandoned you completely. Laughter in difficult times is not betrayal. It is not evidence that things were not really that hard. It is simply proof that you are still human, still capable of responding to humor and lightness, even when heaviness dominates. That laugh, however brief, loosened something in your chest. It reminded your body of a different way of being. And even if the heaviness returned moments later, that laugh happened. It existed. You felt it. You can be grateful for that capacity, for the fact that even in the midst of difficulty, your spirit maintained the ability to respond to levity. This is resilience, though you might not have recognized it as such. This is your humanity refusing to be entirely crushed, insisting on moments of lightness even when logic would suggest there is nothing to laugh about. Or maybe it was something tactile. The softness of a blanket pulled around your shoulders on a cold evening. The smooth comfort of worn cotton sheets. The feeling of grass beneath your bare feet during a rare moment outside. The sensation of water on your skin in the shower, hot and soothing, washing away at least the physical residue of the day, even if it could not wash away the emotional weight. Your body has experienced so much stress this year, but it has also experienced these small comforts. Your skin has felt soft things as well as rough ones. Your muscles have known warmth as well as tension. Your senses have registered beauty and comfort alongside pain and difficulty. These moments matter. They are not large or dramatic, but they are real, and they have been part of your experience whether you acknowledge them or not. Maybe you can find gratitude for your senses themselves, for the fact that even in difficulty you can still feel the softness of fabric, can still register warmth and cold, can still experience the physical world in all its varied textures. This is no small thing. This is life, still available to you, still offering its small gifts even on hard days. As you remember these moments, you might notice something shifting inside you. The memories themselves are not changing. They remain what they were. But your relationship to them changes slightly. You begin to see that alongside all the difficulty there was also this. There were mornings and cups held in warming hands and unexpected laughter and soft textures. There were moments when life, without fanfare or grand gesture, offered you something good, and you were there to receive it, even if you did not fully realize it at the time. This does not change the fact that the year was hard. It does not minimize your pain or your exhaustion, but it adds dimension to the story. It allows the narrative to become more complete, to hold both struggle and grace, both difficulty and unexpected beauty. And in that both and, in that willingness to see the whole of your experience rather than just the hardest parts, something begins to soften. The candle flame flickers and steadies, flickers and steadies, a rhythm as natural as breath. Your own breath has deepened now, each exhale releasing a little more of the tension you have been carrying. Your body is beginning to believe that it is safe to let go, that this moment is not a crisis to brace against, but a respite to sink into. You are doing beautifully. You are remembering with gentleness. You are allowing yourself to see these small moments of light without forcing yourself to feel a particular way about them. If gratitude arises naturally, you welcome it. If it does not, that is fine too. The act of looking, the willingness to see, is enough. Your remembering continues, moving like a gentle current through the months of the year. You are not forcing memories to surface. You are simply creating space for them to appear if they wish. And they do appear, one after another, small moments you had almost forgotten. Small kindnesses you had not fully seen at the time. Perhaps there was a stranger who smiled at you on a difficult day. You were in line somewhere, or walking past on the street, and this person you had never met looked at you and smiled. Not a polite, obligatory smile, but a real one. The kind that reaches the eyes. The kind that says, "I see you, fellow human, and I wish you well." You might have smiled back reflexively, or you might have been too deep in your own thoughts to respond in the moment. But the smile landed anyway. It touched something in you, even if you did not consciously register it. In that moment, a stranger chose to offer you a small gesture of warmth. They had no obligation to do so. They gained nothing from it. They simply saw another person and chose to acknowledge your shared humanity. That is no small thing, especially in a world and a year that can feel isolating. That smile was a reminder that you are not alone in your humanness, that others are moving through their own struggles and still finding the capacity to offer kindness to strangers. You can feel grateful for that moment now, even if you could not at the time. Grateful that the world still contains people who smile at strangers. Grateful that you were there to receive it, even if you did not fully absorb it in the moment. Grateful for that brief, wordless connection that said, "We are here together, and that matters." Or perhaps there was someone who listened to you, really listened. You were talking about something difficult, maybe trying to explain how you felt, and instead of jumping in with advice or reassurances or their own story, they simply listened. They held space for your words and your feelings without trying to fix anything. They did not tell you it would get better or that you should look on the bright side. They just let you speak and be heard. This kind of listening is rare and precious. It requires patience and presence and a willingness to sit with another person's pain without trying to make it go away. The person who listened to you gave you a gift, and you received it. You were vulnerable enough to speak your truth, and they were generous enough to receive it without judgment. Maybe it was a friend or a family member. Maybe it was a therapist or a colleague or someone you barely knew. Whoever it was, they saw you struggling and chose to be present with you in it. They did not need you to be different than you were. They accepted you as you were in that moment, even if that moment was full of pain or confusion or exhaustion. You can be grateful for their presence, grateful that you were brave enough to speak, grateful that someone understood that sometimes the most healing thing is simply to be witnessed, not fixed. Grateful that in a year that often felt lonely, there was at least one moment where you felt truly accompanied. There might have been other small acts of kindness so easy to overlook at the time. The neighbor who took in a package for you when you were not home. The coworker who asked how you were doing and actually waited for an answer. The person who held the door when your hands were full. The friend who sent a text at exactly the moment you needed to know someone was thinking of you. The barista who remembered your order and greeted you by name, making you feel seen in a small but meaningful way. None of these moments changed your circumstances. The difficulties remained. But each one was a small point of light, a reminder that humans are capable of kindness, that the social fabric that connects us all has not completely frayed, that even in hard times, people reach out to each other in small ways. You might not have thanked these people at the time. You might not have even fully registered what they were offering. But the kindnesses happened. They were given freely, without expectation of reciprocation. And they mattered. They added small moments of warmth to days that might have otherwise felt cold. They reminded you, in subtle ways, that you are part of a larger community of beings, all doing their best, all struggling in their own ways, and still managing to offer small gifts to each other. Perhaps you can feel grateful now for all those unnamed kindnesses. Grateful for the people who think to hold doors and send texts and smile at strangers. Grateful that you live in a world where, despite everything, people still choose kindness. Grateful that you were open enough, even in your difficulty, to receive these gestures when they appeared. As you remember these acts of kindness, you might notice something else worth acknowledging. You were also kind, probably more than you realized. In the midst of your own struggle, you likely extended yourself for others. You probably offered your own smiles and held your own doors and sent your own texts to people who needed them. Even when you were exhausted, you found ways to show up for others. You might not have done it perfectly. You might have canceled plans or been less available than you wished, but you still cared. You still tried. And that is worth recognizing. This capacity for kindness, even when you are depleted, is another form of strength. It would have been understandable if you had withdrawn completely, focused only on your own survival. But you did not. You continued to engage with the world, continued to notice when others needed something from you, continued to give what you could even when your reserves felt empty. This is part of your resilience, part of what carried you through. You can be grateful for that part of yourself. The part that remains connected, that maintains compassion even in difficulty, that understands on some fundamental level that we are all interconnected, and that your well-being is linked to the well-being of others. This is not weakness or codependence. It is the core of your humanity, and it has not been destroyed by hardship. It has bent, certainly. It has been tested. But it remains. The candle continues to burn, its flame steady now, confident. The shadows in the room have become familiar, comforting rather than threatening. You are held by the darkness as much as by the light, and both are necessary, both are part of the whole. Your breath moves in and out with ease now, natural and deep. Your body is releasing layer after layer of tension, trusting this moment, trusting this process of gentle remembering. You are seeing your year with new eyes, not different eyes that deny the difficulty, but wider eyes that can hold more of the truth. Yes, it was hard. Yes, you struggled. Yes, there were losses and disappointments and moments of profound exhaustion. All of that is true, and also true. There were moments of unexpected kindness. There were small points of light. There were people who saw you and offered warmth without being asked. And you saw others and offered warmth in return. Both truths exist. Both deserve to be held. And in holding both, you are doing something profoundly healing. You are refusing to let the difficulty be the only story. You are insisting that the full picture, in all its complexity and contradiction, be acknowledged. This is how you begin to integrate difficult experiences, not by denying them or forcing positivity onto them, but by allowing them to exist alongside everything else that is also true. The memories continue to surface, each one adding another small thread to the fabric of understanding you are weaving. A beautiful sunset you glimpsed while driving home from a hard day. The comfort of a pet curling up beside you. A song that came on at exactly the right moment and made you feel less alone. A meal that tasted especially good, reminding you that pleasure and sustenance are still available. These moments punctuated your year, small and easily overlooked, but real, so real. You are gathering them now, these small moments, and in the gathering, you are discovering something. You are discovering that gratitude does not require perfection or the absence of pain. Gratitude can exist right alongside grief and exhaustion. It does not replace those feelings. It sits beside them. It says, yes, this is hard, and also there is this small light. Both, always both. Your eyes rest on the candle flame, or perhaps they have closed and you are seeing it in your mind's eye. Either way, it remains your anchor, your reminder that even small light matters. That even in difficulty, there are these moments of warmth. That kindness persists, beauty persists, connection persists, even when everything else feels uncertain. You are grateful, maybe just a little, maybe more than you expected, but you are grateful. For the smiles and the listening and the small acts that went unnoticed in the moment, but that are visible now. For the people who extended themselves to you, and for your own capacity to extend yourself to others. For evidence that even in hard times, humans remain capable of caring for each other, of noticing each other, of offering small gestures that say, you matter, I see you, we are in this together. This gratitude does not erase the pain of the year, but it makes the pain more bearable. It provides context, dimension, balance. It reminds you that your life, even in difficulty, has contained moments worth savoring. And in savoring them now, you are honoring the fullness of your experience, refusing to reduce this year to only its hardest moments. Your remembering shifts now, moving from the kindnesses of others to the quiet accomplishments of your own journey through this year. These are not the accomplishments that come with accolades or recognition. They are the invisible victories, the ones that no one else saw, the ones you barely saw yourself, because you were too busy simply doing them to step back and acknowledge their significance. There were days when your greatest accomplishment was simply getting out of bed. Days when the weight of depression or anxiety or grief made even that simple act feel monumental. But you did it. You put your feet on the floor. You stood up. You moved through the basic motions of existing even when existing felt overwhelming. No one gave you a medal for this. No one posted about your bravery on social media. But it was brave. It was a quiet, profound act of courage to choose to meet the day even when the day promised nothing but more difficulty. You might have judged yourself on those days. You might have thought you should be doing more, accomplishing more, being more productive. But the truth is that sometimes just getting up is enough. Sometimes just moving through the basic necessities of life when your spirit wants to collapse is a victory worth celebrating. You did that, perhaps many times. And each time you proved something to yourself, even if you did not recognize it then. You proved that you can show up, even when showing up is the hardest thing in the world. There were moments when you chose to feel your feelings instead of numbing them. This is another invisible accomplishment, one that goes unrecognized because it happens entirely on the inside. It would have been so much easier to push the feelings down, to distract yourself endlessly, to numb out with whatever coping mechanism felt most accessible. And maybe sometimes you did that, because you are human, and sometimes numbing is necessary for survival. But there were also times when you let yourself feel what you were feeling. You cried when you needed to cry. You let the anger move through you instead of tamping it down. You sat with the grief, even when sitting with it felt unbearable. You allowed yourself to be vulnerable with your own emotions, to acknowledge their presence without immediately trying to fix or change them. This takes tremendous courage. Most people spend their lives running from their own feelings. But you, in at least some moments, turned toward yours. You met them with presence. This capacity to be with difficult emotions is not weakness. It is profound strength. It is the beginning of healing. Because feelings that are acknowledged and allowed to move through you eventually do move through. They transform. They integrate. But feelings that are constantly pushed away become stuck, calcified, sources of ongoing pain. In the moments when you chose to feel, you were doing the deep work of emotional health. Even if it did not feel like accomplishment at the time, it felt like drowning perhaps. But you were actually swimming, stroke by difficult stroke, toward the shore. You can be grateful for those moments of emotional honesty. Grateful that you did not entirely shut down or armor yourself so heavily that nothing could reach you. Grateful that you remained open to your own inner life, even when your inner life was painful. Grateful for the wisdom in your body and psyche that knew, on some level, that feeling the feelings was necessary and that gave you the strength to do it, even when every instinct wanted to flee. There were times when you adapted, when you found new ways to do things after old ways were no longer available. Plans fell through, and you made new plans. Relationships changed, and you learned to relate differently. Circumstances shifted beneath your feet, and somehow you found your balance in the new configuration. This adaptability is easy to overlook because it often happens gradually, almost invisibly. But it is real and it is significant. Human beings are remarkably adaptable, but adaptation is not automatic. It requires a willingness to let go of how things were supposed to be and meet what actually is. It requires creativity and flexibility and resilience. You had to learn new skills, adopt new perspectives, find new sources of meaning and connection. Maybe you did not do it gracefully. Maybe you kicked and screamed and resisted before you finally accepted the new reality. But you did accept it, eventually. You found ways to move forward, even when the path forward looked nothing like the path you had planned. This is strength. This is resilience. This is the human capacity for growth and change in action. And you did it, perhaps without even realizing you were doing something remarkable. You might have felt like you were just stumbling along, making it up as you went, barely keeping your head above water. But from another perspective, you are demonstrating one of the most important life skills there is, the ability to meet change without breaking. You can be grateful for your own flexibility. Grateful that when life demanded adaptation, you found a way to adapt. Grateful for the creativity that emerged when old solutions no longer worked. Grateful for the part of you that, even in difficulty, remained oriented toward life, toward continuing, toward finding a way through. There were moments of self-care that you managed to offer yourself, even when self-care felt impossible or indulgent. Maybe you took a hot bath on a difficult evening. Maybe you said no to something you did not have energy for. Maybe you asked for help when you needed it, which is one of the most difficult and important forms of self-care. Maybe you gave yourself permission to rest without guilt, or to do something just because it brought you pleasure, not because it was productive or necessary. These acts of self-care, small as they might seem, were revolutionary. In a culture that demands constant productivity and self-sacrifice, choosing to tend to your own needs is a radical act. It says, I matter, my well-being matters, I deserve care, including care from myself. And you did it, at least sometimes, even when it felt hard or selfish or like time you should be spending on other things. Maybe you did not do it as often as you wish you had. Maybe you are looking back and seeing all the times you should have rested and did not, all the times you pushed yourself past your limits, all the times you neglected your own needs in service of others or obligations. That is okay. You were doing your best in difficult circumstances, but the times you did offer yourself care, those count. Those matter. They were small deposits in the account of your well-being, small acknowledgments that you are worthy of tenderness. You can be grateful for those moments now. Grateful that you had enough wisdom to recognize when you needed care. Grateful that you had enough courage to give it to yourself, even imperfectly. Grateful for each bath and each boundary and each time you chose yourself, even in small ways. These moments taught you something important, that you can be a source of care for yourself, that you do not have to wait for someone else to notice you are struggling and offer help. You can be your own ally, your own gentle guardian, your own source of compassion. And perhaps most significantly, you kept going, day after day. Through all the difficulty, you continued. You got up in the morning and you moved through your days, and you fell into bed at night and you did it again the next day. This persistence, this steady showing up, is the foundation of resilience. It is not flashy or dramatic. It does not make for inspiring social media posts, but it is everything. Some days you showed up with energy and hope. Other days you showed up depleted and despairing. It did not matter. You showed up. You did what needed to be done, or you asked for help doing it, or you found a way to delay it until you had more capacity. But you did not disappear. You did not give up entirely. You remained engaged with your life, even when your life felt overwhelmingly difficult. This is the quiet victory that no one talks about. The showing up, the continuing, the putting one foot in front of the other when you cannot see where the path leads. This is what resilience actually looks like, not in movies or books, but in real life. It looks like getting through another day, and another, and another, until suddenly you realize that you have gotten through many days, weeks, months, and you are still here. You are still here. That is an accomplishment. That is something to be proud of. That is evidence of a core of strength within you that may have surprised you. You might not have known you had this kind of endurance, but you do. This year has proven it. You have been tested in ways you never wanted to be tested, and you have not broken. You have bent, yes. You have struggled and suffered and felt like you might not make it through. But here you are, still breathing, still present, still capable of sitting in this quiet moment and reflecting on your journey. The candle flame burns lower now, the wax pooling around the wick, but the light remains steady. It has been with you through all of this remembering, a constant presence, a reminder that you are not doing this alone. The light represents something, perhaps, hope, resilience, the part of you that continues to burn even when everything else feels dark. It has not gone out. Even on the hardest days, this light within you continued to glow, even if only barely. It remained. Your breath is so slow now, so deep and easy. Your body feels heavy in the best way, sinking into rest, trusting that it is safe to let go. The tension has drained away, leaving only a pleasant tiredness, the kind that precedes good sleep. Your mind, which has been racing for so long, feels quieter. Not empty, but calm. The thoughts still move, but gently, like leaves floating on a slow-moving stream. You have done something important tonight. You have looked back at a difficult year and chosen to see it fully. Not just the hardships, but also the moments of grace. Not just what you lost, but also what you gained in resilience and self-knowledge. Not just how you suffered, but also how you persisted. You have allowed yourself to feel grateful, not in a way that denies pain, but in a way that honors the complexity of what it means to be human, to live through difficulty, and to find small lights even in darkness. This gratitude is changing something inside you. Can you feel it? A softening around the hardness, a gentleness entering where there was only harsh judgment. You are beginning to see yourself with compassion, to recognize that you have done remarkable things this year simply by continuing to exist, to feel, to adapt, to care. You are beginning to understand that resilience is not about being unbreakable. It is about continuing even after you have been broken. It is about gathering the pieces and finding a new way to be whole. Something has shifted. You can feel it, though it is subtle, a change in the quality of your inner atmosphere. The weight you have been carrying has not disappeared. The difficulties of the year are still real, still part of your history, but something about your relationship to them has changed. There is space around them now, breathing room. They no longer feel like the entire story. This shift is not dramatic. You have not suddenly become a different person. Your circumstances have not magically transformed, but your inner stance toward your experience has softened. Where there was tight gripping, there is now a looser hold. Where there was harsh judgment of yourself, there is now the beginning of compassion. Where there was only exhaustion, there is now also recognition of your own strength. You are seeing yourself differently, not as someone who failed to prevent hardship or who should have handled things better, but as someone who simply lived through a difficult time and did the best you could with the resources you had. This perspective is kinder. It is more accurate. It allows for your humanity, for the fact that you are not superhuman, that you have limits and needs and vulnerabilities just like everyone else. From this kinder perspective, your accomplishments look different. They are no longer measured against some impossible standard of perfection or invulnerability. They are measured against the reality of what you were facing, and against that measure, you have accomplished so much. You survived. You felt your feelings. You adapted. You continued to care about yourself and about others. You found moments of peace and beauty even when peace and beauty seemed impossible. You are still here, still trying, still open to hope, even if that hope feels fragile. This recognition of your own resilience is profound. It is not ego or self-aggrandizement. It is simple truth-telling. You have been resilient, whether you felt resilient or not. Resilience is not a feeling. It is a fact demonstrated through action. And your actions this year, all the small choices to keep going, to feel, to adapt, to care, these add up to a picture of resilience that is undeniable. You can rest in this knowledge. You can let it support you the way the surface beneath you supports your body. You are stronger than you realized. You have resources within you that you did not know were there. This difficult year has revealed them, has demanded that you draw on reserves of courage and endurance and adaptability that you might never have discovered in easier times. This is not to say that the difficulty was worth it or that you should be grateful for the hardship itself, but you can be grateful for what you have learned about yourself through it. You have learned that you can survive what you thought would destroy you. You have learned that feelings, no matter how intense, do eventually pass or transform. You have learned that you can adapt to circumstances you never wanted to face. You have learned that kindness exists, both in others and in yourself, even in hard times. You have learned that small moments of beauty and peace and connection matter, perhaps more than you realized. These lessons are now part of you. They have changed you, not in ways you would have chosen, but in ways that are real nonetheless. You are not the same person you were at the beginning of this year. You have been shaped by difficulty, yes, but also by your response to difficulty. And your response has been, fundamentally, one of continued engagement with life. You did not shut down entirely. You did not close off. You remained, however painfully, open to your experience. This openness is what makes you capable of gratitude now. If you had closed down completely, if you had armored yourself so thoroughly that nothing could reach you, you would not be able to feel grateful for the small moments of light. But you stayed open, even when openness meant feeling pain, and that openness also allowed you to feel joy and beauty and connection when they appeared. Your willingness to be vulnerable to pain also allowed you to be vulnerable to grace. The self-compassion you are feeling now is not something you have to force or manufacture. It is arising naturally from this recognition of your own journey. You have been so hard on yourself, perhaps, so critical, so demanding. You have held yourself to impossible standards and then judged yourself for failing to meet them. But tonight, in this quiet space of reflection, you are able to see yourself more clearly. You are able to recognize that you are a human being doing your best in difficult circumstances, and that your best has been more than enough. This self-compassion is healing. It is like a balm applied to wounds that have been raw and exposed. It soothes, it softens. It says, "You are okay. You have always been okay, even when you did not feel okay. You are enough. You have always been enough." These words, spoken internally with gentleness rather than harsh judgment, begin to penetrate. Your body relaxes even more deeply. Your breath releases tension you did not know you were still holding. There is a peace settling over you now, not because your problems have been solved, but because you have changed your relationship to them. You are no longer fighting reality, no longer exhausting yourself with should-haves and what-ifs. You are accepting what is, what has been, and in that acceptance finding a strange kind of freedom. You do not have to carry the weight of wishing things were different. They are what they are, and you are who you are. Someone who lived through difficulty with grace and courage, even when you did not feel graceful or courageous. This acceptance does not mean resignation. It does not mean you will not work to improve your circumstances or that you will not hope for better days ahead. But it means you are no longer at war with your own experience. You are no longer spending energy resisting what has already happened. That energy can now be redirected toward healing, toward rest, toward gentle forward movement when you are ready. For now, though, there is only this: rest. Deep, restorative rest. Your body has been asking for this for so long, and finally, you are able to give it. The mental chatter that usually keeps you awake has quieted. The anxiety about tomorrow has softened. The rumination on past mistakes has ceased. There is only this moment, this breath, this feeling of being held by something larger than your individual struggles. You are held by the surface beneath you, by the darkness that surrounds the candle flame, by the simple fact of your own existence, which continues regardless of circumstances, by the resilience you have discovered within yourself, by the web of connection that links you to all the other humans who have ever struggled and survived. You are not alone, even when you feel alone. You are part of a vast, ancient story of human endurance and adaptation and hope. The candle flame is lower now, its light dimming slightly, but still present. It has served its purpose, this small ritual. It has marked this evening as different, as sacred in its own quiet way. It has provided a focal point for your attention, a steady presence as you moved through your remembering. And now, as it burns lower, it signals that this reflection is coming to a close, that you are ready to move from remembering into rest, from active reflection into passive surrender to sleep. Your eyes, if they have been open, feel heavy now. They want to close, or perhaps they have been closed for some time already, and you are moving deeper into that interior space where dreams begin to whisper at the edges of consciousness. Either way, you are descending, sinking, letting go. The thoughts that were clear and focused a moment ago are becoming dreamlike, less linear, more imagistic. You are safe. You are held. You have done enough. You have been enough. You have survived a difficult year, and in surviving it, you have proven something essential about yourself. You are resilient. You are capable. You are stronger than you knew. And that strength is not measured by your ability to prevent hardship or to move through it without struggle. It is measured by your willingness to continue, to feel, to remain open to life even when life is hard. Tomorrow will come, with its own challenges and opportunities. But that is tomorrow. Tonight there is only this: gratitude for small moments, recognition of your own resilience, compassion for yourself and all you have endured, and rest, deep healing rest that will restore something essential within you. The gratitude you have found tonight will not solve your problems. It will not erase the difficulties you still face, but it will change something fundamental about how you meet those difficulties. You will meet them knowing that you have survived before. You will meet them knowing that small lights appear even in darkness. You will meet them knowing that you are capable of both struggle and grace, that you can hold pain and beauty at once, that you are resilient enough to bend without breaking. This knowledge is a gift you have given yourself through this reflection. It will remain with you, even when the details of tonight fade. It will be there in the morning when you wake, a subtle but persistent awareness that you are stronger than you realized, that gratitude is possible even after difficult times, that you can be gentle with yourself, even when the world is hard. Your breath is barely perceptible now, slow and deep and steady. Your body has released itself entirely to rest. Every muscle has softened. Every part of you that was tense or braced or holding on has let go. You are heavy and warm and comfortable, sinking into the surface beneath you like water finding its level, effortless and natural. The candle flame wavers one last time and then steadies, its light even softer now, blending with the darkness rather than fighting against it. Light and dark together, both necessary, both beautiful. This is what you have learned tonight: that life contains both difficulty and grace, struggle and beauty, exhaustion and resilience, that you can acknowledge the darkness without being consumed by it, that you can notice the light without denying the reality of shadow. Your mind floats now, untethered from worry or planning or analysis. Thoughts drift by like clouds, insubstantial and changing. You notice them without engaging them. They come and they go, and you remain, deeper than thought, more fundamental than any particular mental content. You are awareness itself, consciousness at rest, the witnessing presence that remains regardless of what thoughts or feelings arise. From this place of deep rest, you can sense the arc of your year from a distance. It does not have the sharp edges it once did. It is part of your story, significant and real, but not the entirety of who you are. You are larger than any single year, any single difficulty. You contain multitudes. You have lived through many things, and you will live through many more. This year has added to you, has shaped you, but it has not defined you completely. You are grateful, not because you had to suffer, but because you discovered that you could survive suffering. Not because the year was hard, but because you found small moments of softness within the hardness. Not because you did everything perfectly, but because you did everything humanly, with all the imperfection and vulnerability and courage that being human entails. This gratitude fills you now, warm and steady, like the candlelight. It asks nothing of you. It does not demand that you feel differently about the difficult parts of your year. It simply exists alongside everything else, another truth in a year full of truths. And in its presence, you feel yourself relaxing even more deeply, trusting that you are okay, that you have always been okay, that you will continue to be okay even as you face whatever comes next. The future is uncertain. It always has been. But uncertainty no longer feels quite so threatening. You have learned that you can meet the unknown without collapsing. You can face change without being destroyed by it. You can lose things and still find reasons to be grateful. This knowledge is power, quiet and unassuming but real. Your breathing has become the breathing of deep sleep, automatic and rhythmic. Your consciousness is shifting, moving from waking awareness into the liminal space between waking and sleeping. Images begin to flicker behind your closed eyelids, dreamlike and nonsensical. You are letting go, releasing your grip on waking life, allowing yourself to drift into the restorative darkness of sleep. This sleep will be different from the troubled sleep you have known lately. This sleep will be deep and healing because you are meeting it from a place of peace rather than exhaustion. You are not collapsing into unconsciousness out of sheer depletion. You are consciously choosing to rest, to let your body and mind restore themselves, to trust that sleep is safe and that you will wake refreshed. The year has been hard. You have acknowledged that fully. But the year has also contained moments of light, acts of kindness, demonstrations of your own resilience. You have acknowledged those too. And in holding both truths together, you have found a kind of peace that is not dependent on circumstances being different. It is a peace that comes from accepting reality fully and finding that you are capable of meeting it, all of it, the difficult and the beautiful together. As you descend deeper into sleep, you carry this peace with you. It becomes part of your dreams, coloring them with a gentleness that has been absent lately. Your body relaxes even more, releasing the last traces of tension, trusting completely in this moment of rest. Your mind quiets until there is only the soft hum of consciousness at its most fundamental level, aware but without content, present but without effort. You have done beautiful work tonight. You have looked at a difficult year with honest eyes and found reasons for gratitude without denying the pain. You have recognized your own resilience without making it into a burden or an expectation. You have been gentle with yourself, compassionate, kind, and in doing so, you have given yourself what you most needed: permission to rest in the knowledge that you are enough, that you have done enough, that you can let go now and trust that you will be okay. The candle burns quietly beside you, or perhaps you have blown it out already, sending its smoke curling up into the darkness as a final offering, a completion of the ritual. Either way, its work is done. It has lit your way through this reflection, and now you are ready to move forward without its light, trusting the darkness of sleep to hold you safely until morning comes. Sleep now. Deep, restorative sleep. Your body knows how to do this. Your mind knows how to let go. You have permission to rest completely, to release all responsibility, to simply be held by the simple fact of your existence. You are safe. You are enough. You are resilient in ways you never knew. Tomorrow will bring its own challenges, but tomorrow is not here yet. Tonight there is only rest and gratitude, and the quiet knowledge that you survived a difficult year, and in surviving it, you discovered strength you did not know you possessed. Let that knowledge comfort you now as you slip deeper into sleep, as your breath becomes even slower, as consciousness fades into the healing darkness of rest. You are grateful for small moments of light. You are grateful for unexpected kindness. You are grateful for your own resilience. You are grateful for this moment of peace. And in that gratitude you find the deepest rest, the most healing sleep, the gentlest descent into darkness that will restore you, that will prepare you for whatever comes next. Sleep deeply. Rest completely. You have earned this peace. You have survived this year. You are still here, still breathing, still capable of gratitude and growth and change. And that is more than enough. That is everything. If this story resonated with you, if you found even a small moment of peace in these words, please consider showing your support with a like and subscribe to Deep Sleep Stories Hub for more quiet nights and restful journeys. Your presence here matters. Your willingness to seek rest and healing matters. You matter. Now let yourself drift completely. Let consciousness fade. Let sleep take you gently into its embrace. You are held. You are safe. You are enough. Rest now, deeply and completely, knowing that you have found gratitude in a difficult year. And in that finding, you have given yourself a profound gift. Rest, peace, gratitude, sleep.